let's move on to the next one, number 6, action learning. Action learning. So this has to do, and it's very much part of that, ease your change. Do something, as I mentioned, go start low and go slow. Do not just drop your job. Don't tell your boss, take this job and shove it, right? I'm getting a divorce, buying a red Ferrari, telling my boss to shove it, and I'm moving to Orange County or something. No. You're going to be ridiculous, and then 2 months later, you're going to be begging, your wife to take you back. No. You just do not risk the farm, right? Don't say, I'm taking my life savings and I'm whatever, building this huge business. You just start very low. So a lot of businesses these days, by the way, they're not physical businesses. You're not selling actual physical widgets. You're selling information or knowledge or intelligence, right? And so what you're selling is non-tangible. And so you don't have to have you don't need a physical store or maybe even a physical office. And you don't need a factory to build you anything. So it's sort of like you're selling information, right? Or, kind of transformed information into, where it's actionable and helpful to someone. In fact, that's kind of what we do as physicians. We help people achieve change. We are change agents. And so, one way, if you have some idea for something, and by the way, there are entrepreneurs. There's actually, I can't remember, I do remember. Her name is Dana Abelman, I think something like that, Dana Obelman. And she's an entrepreneur. She has ebooks and videos on helping parents get their kids to sleep, right? If you're a child adolescent psychiatrist, you know what a big problem it is for a lot of parents to get their kids to sleep. And the drama that's associated with it. And like most of the things that the parents do are counterproductive. They are reinforcing the bad behavior. And so this is a person who's achieved a great deal of financial success selling $55 ebooks and whatever $100 videos and helping parents do the right thing to get their kids to go to sleep. Okay? There are people who have made millions teaching people how to swim the right way, immersion swimming. There are people who will teach you how to do barefoot running, or running in different ways where you put less pressure on the joints. Whatever there is that anyone is interested in worldwide, that will help their lives either financially or golf. Golf is huge. Golfers are extremely competitive, and also they don't want to look bad in front of their friends and colleagues, right? Because it's kind of like you're being compared. And so they will do anything not to look bad and to look good. There are many, many multimillionaires who cater to, golfers. So let's say you're in that kind of a field. And of course you're a psychiatrist, so you have huge amount of actionable information for other people. And when you do that, and you say, well, Jack, how do I start out my marketing, it's called informational marketing kind of company. And they say, we have to kind of find out, first of all, who's your audience? Who's going to want to buy this? And don't just guess. And second of all, are they really going to want to buy it? So here's what you do. Give it away for free. Don't write, another version, don't write a book on blah, 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 unless you're doing it because you really want to do it for yourself. Don't invest in writing a whole book. Write a chapter. Write what's called a white paper, right? You're familiar in business. There are white papers that are like 5 to 10 page kind of summaries a very kind of, actionable advice. Write a white paper, set up a website, and just kind of like give it away for free. Maybe have people, maybe it's not completely free because you ask people to get, for their contact information. So I want to read your white paper because I'm really interested in your new swimming method because I'm a horrible swimmer. And I have to tell you that I'm Jack, and my email is drjack@americanphysician.com. And then I get your white paper. And you see how it goes. And then you build from there. Okay, now you got my email. What else are you going to send me? Are you going to build that relationship? Now, that example is actually how I started this company. I don't know, some of you may actually remember this, some of you in this room. And I didn't even realize this. I kind of did this kind of, I guess I fell into it in the right way. I wrote an ebook called 7 Mistakes That Will Sink Your Psychiatry Oral Boards and How to Avoid Them. And then after a few months, I kind of figured out some other things, and I made it 12 Mistakes That Will Sink Your Psychiatry Oral Boards and How to Avoid Them. It was 66 pages, single-spaced, and I had 12 scenarios, and they were cleverly named, so it was kind of an interesting, fun read, but I think very informative. And I was having that being downloaded thousands of times a year across the globe. And this is kind of, I'm laugh because I became the psychiatry oral board guru. And I truly believe that on this entire planet, I was the best teacher and trainer of how to do psychiatric interviewing in a way to prepare for the oral boards. Okay? It's kind of a funny thing. It's a small thing, right? I mean, I'm not Kanye, but in that micro niche, people knew who I was because they read me and they trusted me, right? So you give it away for free, and then you learn. You learn, are people even interested? And you learn to market it. How do you find the people that might be interested in what you have to say? And then you get into a conversation with them, and then you see, well, I kind of got what they maybe, they're sort of a little bit interested in what I have to say, but they really kind of want this. So then you shift gears and you do something else. So you have to be humble, and you have to constantly change. There's this concept called cybernetics. So, and it developed from rocketry, but there's a book written in the 1950s called Psycho-Cybernetics. And cybernetics is when you have a rocket, let's say, you're sending a nuclear warhead to, I won't say North Korea, because this was, in the 1950s with the ICBMs. Let's say we're kind of like mutual assured destruction, and we have all these missiles pointing at Moscow, and the USSR then has them pointed at New York and Washington. And that rocket could not hit Moscow while it was sitting in its silo. It just started launching in the direction of Moscow, and then it would constantly adjust, so that it could really hit its target. It was constantly adjusting its trajectory. So that's what you have to do. You have to, be humble, realize action learning, and that what you end up with may be very different than what you thought you're going to do when you set out. I like to point out, that 3M, they're famous for Post-it notes. Do you know what the 3 M's stand for? There's someone here from Minnesota. It's Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. That's what 3M stands for. Nokia, before they started making cell phones, they were making, among other things, galoshes. So you don't always end up where you start. So don't bet the farm, don't quit your job, do something, small, and test things out. Just give it away for free on the internet and see what people tell you about it. Engage in a conversation with people. How are people looking to be helped by you? But before I leave that, I want to stress that each of you, every single person in this room, has some specific type of expertise that could be what's called monetized, that you could build a consultancy if you so wanted to.